it's a body language thing, and it's if you're comfortable and fine, that's you. It's just other people take it off that way. You can't change how other people think about you just by the way you're reacting.
Okay, but like I'm engaged in the show. I'm listening to everything that everybody's saying. Like,
hey, Quinlan.
Like, I'm not saying this as necessarily a criticism. You're just being you.
I'm sitting in my fucking apartment.
Hey, Quinlan. When Andrew Augustus is giving you advice on body language, you really got to look inward, brother.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, it's just like I don't know, like.
Another tough day at work today. Stephen Kirk, think I suck. Throw back a few wobbly pops, feeling down on my luck. And the interns ruin every show. But it's still where we want to go. It's Mike and the Minifans. 'Cause nobody had any better plans. You wanna be with DC and RA Minahan. The host can't see it's Mike and the Minifans. And nobody's seen real MHB. This whole thing is a sham. You never see him pee, it's Mike and the Minifans.
I can't hear you. Did BA mess up his thing? Welcome to Mike and the Minifans.
Hey, thank you, Warden. Hey, how are you? Welcome to Mike and the Minifans, longest hour in recorded broadcast history. We have two of you here. First, I want to just thank Kirk Minahan 4 days a week. What's the hashtag?
Hashtag
Goose?
4 days of KMS.
4 days of KMS. Oh, John Rich is gone this week, Goose. John Rich is gone. Nice. Surprise, no Mick. So it's really Goose. Where VD's running late. Montante should join us. We have John Rich. I think he's hopping on. But how are John, can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm good. Sorry, I don't know what the fuck that was.
No worries. How are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. How y'all doing? Thanks for having me.
Pretty good. So I like to start. Well, Joe, maybe we'll do this. We have a big surprise announcement right now. Someone wants. Do you want to bring in the surprise announcement, John?
Hey, BA.
What's you have a big announcement to announce?
Happy to be here, part of this bit. I want to throw my hat into the ring for producer.
Wow.
Thanks, John Rich.
So you're serious? You want to? Because you texted me a few days ago. You said you want to throw your hat.
A couple days ago, yeah. I thought, why not, right, BA? I said none of these guys have talent, obviously, other than Gus. Gus is the only one who actually has producer talent. But I thought, $100,000. It's a good job opportunity.
So you're serious? Are you serious about this? Big news. Lauren's saying big news.
There you go.
When are you going to go in?
I'll go in whenever they ask.
So you're waiting for them to ask you. You're not going to ask them.
That's a classic Mincel Intel move. I make them come to us.
Well, you kind of just asked right now.
You kind of just asked.
I didn't even know this was going to happen, but yeah, sure. I'll ask right now.
I can read the text. You said.
Look at the comments. I guarantee I go up pretty high in the rankings right now.
Wow.
Very true.
Wow.
Now,
so you want Kirk to reach out to you privately? Or
no, I don't want that at all. My plan actually was to put my name into the Rinkers. It's fine. Put my name into the race, and then when BA was up there for Saco, me and him go into studio, but I don't think it's gonna work. And I would produce the show. I know this was supposed to be a bit, but now the commenters are probably gonna say that actually the best for the job.
Do you really think you're the best?
If you want me to move there, whatever you say.
Because that's what you said to me. You said, I'm going
I
to
did
put
say I was split about it. You did try to bring me on here to kind of surprise attack me. I bet the people in the comments are more down for me being the producer than most of these unqualified fucking morons. Mal, saying that, I'll give whatever money I have to Montante to be the third on the seat. I will negotiate that immediately off the
Where's
bat.
Montante?
Oh, he was driving home, he said.
He said
Yeah.
he's home.
Yeah.
Oh.
For real, I've been up in the air about it the last couple days. Like, it's like I don't want to put my name in there because I don't want to get fucking like made like look at like wave my arms, John. I didn't want a big announcement like this at all.
You literally texted me saying, I want to. You literally texted me.
I was trying to say during that, I don't want this to be a wave my arms. And I was going to say it on Twitter before, if anything, but I never texted that.
You texted me saying, all right, so the axe, what do you think? The axe? Oh, we got Montante. Montante.
If I knew John was here, I'd be gone.
Well, so Montante, John is putting his hat in the ring for the producer. He says Kirk needs to reach out to him, and he'll come.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You know what, Joe? You know what, Joe?
Dinner,
$100,000,
movies.
This
Kirk
doesn't
is-
affect me. This doesn't affect any work I will do.
Sorry, John.
That's some pitch. That's some pitch. Yeah. See you later.
John's been axed. The axe got John.
Thank
Sorry,
God.
John. Your axe. Okay. VD's about 10 minutes late, but we'll get into it. A big week of shows. We had the Quinlan show. We had the Joe and Josh show, the Augustus show, the Montante and Mick show. It was great. What did you guys think? What did you guys think of the week so far? We'll start with you, Goose. You're the first one here.
I'd say it was a fun week, good week of shows. And I feel like, and Mike, I think you'll agree with this, especially when you get in there that second and third time, you kind of know it a little better in the comfort level. Because the first time I was jittery as fuck. And I had too many cups of Stella Blue coffee. That is not an ad, just what I actually had that morning.
Did you reach out to Stella Blue first to see if you're allowed to say that?
Yeah, it's pretty tricky.
I had 2 cups of coffee. So this week I cut myself down to 1, and it was much more comfortable for that. But it's been a great week of shows. I think bringing in the producers, it gives a good, unique view because, like, I'm fucking scared. I'm sure Montante's scared. Like, we're all we all want this. So it's like, it's good to hear everyone's nerves on the show and like seeing, all right, can you overcome it? If there's tech issues, this, that, and the other thing.
Augustus, are you in Jay's room?
No, I'm in my room. Don't you notice my sweet little wine?
It kind of looks like the Mayhem Palace.
I mean, I will admit it. I'm not the most clean person.
No, neither am I.
Chaos organized. I know where everything is, and that's all that matters.
No, I'm not shaming you for that. It looked like the Mayhem Palace.
The haircut's clean still.
It's
still good.
Sharp.
I had to get a new one. I got it today. It was nice. I much needed it. I since I'm with the wedding coming up, I had to get it done here, and I reached that point in like mid-August. Like, should I cut it or not?
Oh, you don't trust a Mexican barber?
No, it's just I have right up the road. Great barber there. She's awesome.
Is poor Mr. Rich gonna be able to get a word in here? I feel
I don't know. So this was this is one of my points. This is one of my points here. So we'll get right into it. So with the producers, I've noticed, like especially from Goose and from AA and Mick, when Kirk asks like, oh, what do you have? It's always around them. Like, oh, I was at Milton's yesterday. I'm gonna play this. So I have me doing this. Mick, it's all me. Montante comes in and he's saying stories, different stories, a little less about him. So I wanted to what's your thoughts on that, Montante? What do you thought? Have you noticed that a little bit or
I don't want to make anything about me. I mean, I try to bring interesting stories, but it's pretty crazy. I mean, the world's a crazy place, but how little happens like the interesting story wise. Like I was online, I was up at 3:30 looking for interesting stuff. I found nothing. CNN, nothing. ESPN, nothing. There's just nothing interesting happening. So I get sometimes that you have to, bring in some personal stuff. So I don't fault anybody for doing that.
You know, one thing Montante does do is anytime like Augustus or anyone else is brought up, he's like, "Oh yeah, no, they're great." He over compliments the competition. That's a little thing I've noticed.
All right.
That Montante does.
That's a strategy. This is not politics. No dirty hits. No hit pieces here. I'm running a clean campaign.
Keeping it all above board.
Oh, if you gave me truth serum, I'd be lying through my teeth. But you know.
Yeah.
So John, it's nice for you to join us. I know you dropped out of the race, but it seems like you want to be a part of the show in some way, shape, or form. How does it feel? How does it feel like getting to know the Minifans, the Minifan world? Is it overwhelming? What do you think?
Overwhelming. Yeah, I mean, you guys have been great, honestly. Like, I've loved it, and not to just suck your guys' dicks too much, but like I've loved it more than I really expected to. I only like kind of started casually listening to Kirk like once I started at Barstool, and from there I was like, all right, like maybe give these guys a chance because you guys you got a reputation, like you got a reputation that precedes yourself. So like if you're like kind of casually following Barstool, you just like overhear a few things and you kind of assume like the Kirk show and the Minifans are a certain way. Like, and I think that's probably a lot of people, unfortunately. And now that I've got to know it, I kind of realize
it is true though. We're not good people. We're not good people.
But
yeah,
so
well,
VD,
I'm not trying to say you're good people. You're also
okay, good.
People, but
Yeah.
well, some of us aren't.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the Minifans, there's like variations of them. There's like the Kimps. So the Kimps are like the Kirk simps. They're like the hardcore Kirk, anything like Augustus, anything Kirk says or does, they're like sucking his dick. The big time Kirk was right. Then there's like the kind of outskirts where they'll be critical about the show. They'll state their opinion, but then they kind of could get shit on and stuff like that. They're kind of the outskirts. So there's different variations of the Minifans. But I think people like at Barstool or whatever, they're thinking of these hardcore Kimps, like the hardcore Kimp. You know, what do you think, BD? John, go ahead. John, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's like the same thing with like the way people who don't know Barstool look at Barstool. Like they just see like the crazy fucking people and they assume that like, oh yeah, that's just fucking everyone. And like the Minifans like Kirk show is basically just like a smaller version of that. I mean, obviously you got your like it's different. You got different things, but that's kind of how I see it. It's just
it's the
kind of a smaller like subset of it. It's like
I think it's kind of like we talked about this last week, but original Barstool where like there was like the stoolies that would go out to these bar events that Portnoy throw, and I think the Minifans are kind of that where a lot of us meet in person. We're all kind of friends outside of Twitter and stuff, which is the thing. And getting into this, it's the top 50 was a big theme of this week's show. Top 50 Minifans. Or top 50, not Minifans, but contributors to
I would say most important. I think the way we are going to word it is like most important figures to the show. So basically, if like for John Rich, if he's going to go explain to someone new, who do you need to know to like understand the Kirk Minifan story? Probably we could give this to Tommy. You can go right from 50, me like, all right, we have the higher guys, and then obviously one with Kirk. Murchison's in the top 10. That's clear. So. Yeah.
So there was a lot of people made a few lists. There's Patrick Ford's list, the Birdsman's list. So people were like, and a few people brought it up on the show. Is BA myself a top 50 fan? Like me and John were talking about this the other day, and I was like, "There's no way I'm in the top 50. Maybe top 100, but top 50." Like, okay, back in the day, there was.
Got show.
But so back in the day, Minsalental was talked about a lot. Now, Mike and the Minifans, but top 50, there's no way. There's callers, there's enemies.
Is that what John said? Was that John?
So, but John said he's like, we're top 20. No. And I was like, there's no way, man. I was like, I think we're in the 50 to 75 mix. I think something along there. But because there's so like, I think anyone that's been on the show or callers to the show or people a part of the show are more heavily weighted than like the wrap up or the cloak guys. Like, wouldn't you agree, VD? What do you think?
Yeah, but like it has to be kind of like a Hall of Fame thing where it's like you don't to be top. Like I think there was a point when you were definitely a top 50. So
for sure, like
so you get that patch of like former. You know, I was. It's like being an All Pro in the NFL. It's like I may not be this year, but I was an All Pro. You know. But I'm treating the top 50 list the same way Kirk treats the bracket, and I'm just saying it's kind of gay and not cool, but I'm still following it.
Yeah,
I think he should have just done a bracket. You should have done a
Well,
bracket.
I don't think the bracket. So, John, we do like for I think 5 years now. We do the Minifan Madness bracket. Last year it was in remembrance to Jeff D. Lowe's dead dad. So, yeah. So VD. I think you won it last year.
I did win it last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
So
the one thing about the problem with doing the bracket, in theory, is going to be we already know who wins the bracket.
No,
the
it's never been
brackets-
a repeat winner.
No. But I'm saying if you're saying that Kirk should have done a bracket for this top 50 one.
no, I don't think so. I'm not.
No, but I don't
saying
think.
Kirk
I
would
also think the top 50. It shouldn't. It should only be fans. I don't care about like.
But I think callers.
Callers. It should be fans that are involved with the show. It shouldn't be like Big Cat and like people like that. It should be.
But that is part of the show though. Like they.
Not really.
I think Big Cat and Whitney are lower on the scale.
Yeah.
I think they're lower on the scale than say a Menners or a
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
or a caller. Like Menners
That's
should
what I'm
be
trying to say.
is top 20 for me. Like I don't know about you guys, but Menners is top 20.
Jesus.
Like to
And
me,
Whitney,
a guy,
I think is in like the 30.
to me, a guy like Blind Owl, that should be like a guy floating around in the 50, maybe just like.
Add a zero to that. Yeah, he's around 500.
No, but that's a bad example.
Terrible example. That was one of the worst examples you could have given.
But I'm trying to think of someone who's like passively involved, like Warthog. Like Warthog has been.
That's fine.
He doesn't do much, but he's been a character for like 5 years. That's not easy to do. He goes to the show. There's something to be said. But I think, I think
there's a higher rating
for the fans.
His notes. Tim is. I actually asked Tim to come on. He said he was getting fucked up. Also, Quinlan is banging. Is trying to get some ass, as well as Josh on his 4th date today. So,
nice.
I hope both those boys smash.
Gay guys fuck. Gay guys fuck a lot.
I hope. Well, Quinlan's getting ass. I hope Josh seals the deal because he seems a little timid. What did you guys think of Josh? So what did you think of the Joe? Joe actually wanted to come on.
Pizza Joe.
Pizza Joe wanted to come on and like state his case, and I was gonna ask him like I did to John, but then I had to move it to John, so I kind of felt a little bit bad. But Joe's just a fucking. What do you guys think about Joe?
I have no attention span, like zero attention span, but I could at least stay focused if Kirk's
but
in
BA,
front of
it's
you.
obvious what happened. You should like this guy because he was blatantly just reading the comments in the live stream and he zoned out.
Is that what you think? Is that what you think it was?
100%. He's reading the chat and he's like kind of giggling at a few things, and then they say his name and he had no idea what they were.
I didn't think of that.
But when he goes, I'll book him, and they're like, book who? And he's like, got through bottom. I'm like, oh, bro.
Augustus, here's something you need to, I think you should champion, or Montante, because there are, not always.
The show needs a comment guy, kind of.
It needs a comment guy, because once you start encouraging comments and comments get up, then people are like, oh, I want my comment to get up. So
anytime I go in the comments, anytime it's just that fucking scumbag Jay from Lynn just being a piece of shit. That's why I stay out of the chat.
But that's because it's a barren wasteland. If you start sprinkling some clout seeds in there,
for an intern. I think that's something perfect an intern could do.
Yeah,
but also I don't think Kirk is not like a text line guy, but you have to do it in the right way, like a comment guy. I think a comment guy style segment where where you pop in and this. Blind Mike Sneakers said Augustus is a fucking pillow biter. That would be a solid. That would be solid. It's kind of like
that's an interesting thing to come off top.
That's not my words. Those are the comments. That's what the comments are saying. So what I noticed too is a lot of the producer candidates, similar to Joe, lack active listening or multitasking skills. Like Kirk will say something and you guys screw up. Like John Rich had a moment where Kirk's like, okay, set me up for a drop, and he just plays a drop.
I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, Augustus does this like 4 times a show where Kirk says something, he says completely different. Montante, a little worse.
Augustus
Quinlan
forgets how to speak English when he's talking to Kirk.
I've
never seen anything.
I know.
You think he just got here from Lipskin? It's
you can hear yourself like I can tell you're listening to your own words. So then when you say something wrong in your head, you're like, oh fuck, but then you forget that you were still talking. So then you like.
So
snowballs.
What a show!
I got a call today from Tim, and I think he nailed it on the head because he's like, you're talking, but half of that conversation's in your head and you come in halfway through it.
Yep.
So I am trying to work on it. I feel like I said at the beginning.
I don't think you can work on that.
It's like
that's in God's hands.
No, it'll get better. It's like public speaking. You just got to do it a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm in next week. I'm hoping it's going to be a little better this time.
Montante doesn't get nervous and he still can't speak. So at least
I'm just
excuse.
Yeah. But the booze, the drugs, and the lack of sleep. I'm lucky to get a sentence together. I have a serious question for John. Not to. So I don't know if you were joking today when you called in. By the way, how many times did you rehearse? How many times did you rehearse that phone call in the shower?
0, dude. I was literally like 5 different times. I like started to type it out because like I wanted to read it, and I think
you erased it.
I wrote like 2 sentences. I immediately started talking. Didn't follow anything.
There you go.
I was so fucking nervous.
Were you serious?
So hard.
Were you serious? Well, the thing in Jersey City, that's like a total nightmare. I get that. Were you serious when you said like you're seeing people get laid off, so you're kind of doing this for job security?
That was a bit of a joke, but I mean, a little bit though. Like it
makes sense.
Right?
I
wasn't necessarily worried about getting laid off just because of like where my contract was at, but it definitely makes you think. It's like, all right, like what am I bringing to the company? If they fired me tomorrow, would anybody give a shit? And like probably not really from Barstool's perspective. John, especially an opportunity like this, like I love all.
No, I get it. I get it. People are like, why did he come out of nowhere? I was like, well, look at what's going on in the company. He probably, from what you've heard of the show, you probably found it interesting. So it made sense on both fronts.
I can't. That's not why I got in though. Honestly, and I'm being serious.
Okay.
I really got in because I thought I made a funny joke.
And then that joke turned into something serious. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
And like,
Didn't
that's the reason I did it.
Rich, what are you drinking? What are you drinking, John? Rich, Freddie Lane is asking.
Lagunitas IPA.
Nice.
I can't drink a Lagunitas ever again.
Dude, I don't even really like them. I drink IPAs all the time, and they fucking suck.
This place I used to live, we were sponsored by Lagunitas, so I had free Lagunitas for like 2 years. But
do you have their
usually
contact
warm
information?
Yeah, I could probably get
We'll get to that.
but I can never drink. But John Rich, didn't you start as like a chat guy? Like, weren't you you were like, you got hired?
It was a yak. It was a yak.
Like
so John was a yak fan. He would make John. So this is what I was gonna say. So I'm a big yak fan as well. Like yak KMS are my 2 top shows, and I think what you said about bringing aspects of the yak to KMS is great because Kirklick's trivia, you made like the yak kind of Jeopardy game. I think that style game for Minifans or KMS history would be hilarious, and it would be something that would be great, right? And I think those are the aspects. Those are the aspects of the job that really have.
My point is
I
like,
can't talk to.
Yeah, BA. Are we still?
I had a stroke. I had a stroke, bro.
Like there's certain type of people, like even in, I feel like Minifans have this and Yak has this, where it's like when you can contribute to the show as a fan, then like a certain type of person is drawn to that. So I feel like that's probably why you were drawn a little bit to KMS, because it's that same kind of environment where like you can get a little clout from being a good comment guy or from like making a meme or whatever, and you get your recognition for it. So I feel like there's crossover.
That's
like
probably true.
The type of
definitely
people that are fans.
Because with the yak, I was watching it like every day religiously for so long, and then I made one of those Jeopardy games. They just happened to play it, and that's how I got on Barstool Idol. With KMS, it was obviously a lot fucking quicker. Yeah. Like it happened in a different way, but that's what I'm saying.
Like if you took a different turn in life, like you could have ended up as a Minifan instead of a Yak fan. You have the DNA of what a Minifan is. Like you like contributing to the show. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of similarities. So John, what do you think about that scumbag Nate?
Scumbag Nate, dude. I'm starting to realize I'll get into Nate. I'm gonna have a fine line to walk here. Barstool. I found that out real quick. But what I say was kind of like what I'm saying earlier, like what I was saying earlier, honestly. And it's maybe even a little bit unfair to single out Nate, because I bet if you put a gun to the head of 80% of the people there, they would probably say something similar. Nate just actually speaks his mind.
I was going to ask you.
Though.
I was going to ask what's the ratio. I would think maybe 30%, 80% is much higher than I would think.
I was going to guess actually 80 on the dot.
Probably a lot, but like, yeah, I don't know, but that was kind of making me mad. It was less of the. It's not even like he said anything that like inflammatory about Kirk. It was just I get mad when people like tell me like what's good for me and stuff.
Yeah. And
I felt like he was like trying to tell me like, oh, like you're much better off. You dodged your bullet. Like you don't know like what it'd be like to work there. It'd be really hard. And it's like, dude, like I'm an adult. Like I know what I'm getting into. Like yeah, it's gonna be hard. Kirk would probably like rip my head off a couple times, but like that's not. I don't know. Like I just fucking expect that. But dude, that's maybe one of the things. And I was sticking up for him. Hopefully, I can kind of. I don't know, maybe bring a little bit of that to Barstool. If they just see a regular guy.
But they're basically
fans. Like it's not.
Yeah. What they're basically telling you is you're too much of a bitch to deal with Kirk, you know, but just indirectly. They don't even realize they're saying that, but that's what they're saying. They're like, oh yeah, you would have never been able to do that.
And I can kind of see why they'd think that just because of like how quickly it happened. But I don't know, man. I think in a weird way I fit in better with you guys, like in a lot of ways.
For sure. It's like Rico too. He's like a call.
I feel like you guys let it fly a little bit more. I feel like a lot of times I'm kind of afraid to like talk about certain shit at Barstool. Like, I don't know. Just for whatever reason, I definitely feel like a little bit more comfortable like on with you guys than I do at a lot of points at Barstool.
Well, I think too, Nate was a huge K Marco guy, and you know what I mean. And even though like K Marco, Kirk had the K Marco Me Too movement at Barstool, everyone's coming out of the woodwork saying K Marco did this to me, K Marco did that to me. It's I think Nate was one of his supporters. Like he stood by someone stood by Weinstein, you know, whoever Weinstein.
Yeah.
Right?
I wasn't ready for the Weinstein comparison. But
he's pretty much a Weinstein.
I think it's fair. I think that's totally fair.
So Augustus, back to this active listening that I was talking to about before. So you reach out to Milton's like a fucking psychopath. Like that's a crazy move. Then Kirk says you gotta crawl through the floor of the mall, get to Milton's, and apologize. But I'm pretty sure you were crawling in Milton's, being like, "Hey, this is a shirt. This is a shirt on sale." Like crawling through Milton's. Like, don't you think crawling through Milton's should have been like, "Oh, this is kind of fucked up"? Because Kirk even said it on the show. He better not be crawling through Milton's. And then he kind of gave you a pass today, but you were crawling through Milton's. You were like, I remember crawling through. You're like, this is on sale. So what do you have to say?
I put out a video, and what I did was I had about 5 minutes on my Facebook. 5 minutes on the Instagram.
Why did you go live on Facebook with that, by the way? Twitter, I get. Why would you like people with the high school they're tuning in for the first time in 50 years?
Doing
what's Augustus up to? He's crawling through the mall.
It's a
self-promotion.
And it added to more content. It added to more content on it. Kirk,
John, definitely not Facebook.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's a weird instinct. It's like let me live stream on LinkedIn. Like, what are you doing?
So Augustus, you were crawling through Milton's, right?
I started at the furthest exit away and crawled all the way through the mall on the hard floor. I had to keep taking stops because my knees were just getting fucked.
Didn't bring knee pads?
No, I as soon as I heard it on the show, as soon as Kirk said he should get to Milton's in Burlington,
Montante's
within 20 minutes, I was in the car on my way out.
Shut the fuck up, David.
So I was going right away. But then, like, I also knew, like, Portnoy was going on, so I wanted to try to get it so I could record some of the audio to bring it in with me. And then I found out Portnoy was coming in the next morning, so it's like, oh, how much are we going to be able to pull from that? But it was... And when I hit Milton's at the end, of course I'm going to give them like the shout out. It's an embarrassing thing I'm doing, but I don't
think you viewed it as embarrassing. I think you had a blast. I think you might do it again.
No, I fucking hated my knees.
Yeah, it's okay. So the embarrassment had no problem. It's just the fact that your knees got hurt. You're not doing it again.
What did you buy at Milton's? What did you buy at Milton?
I cannot afford Milton's to buy something at this current moment until Tuesday. I will be getting
great.
But I will be getting something at Milton's on Tuesday before I leave.
Add it to the list. Wedding list. Yeah.
You can pull the garbage munchkin and buy a bunch of stuff and then just return it the next day.
Can I put $100 gift card to Milton's on my registry now?
Should have.
Might as well at this point.
Get on there.
Okay, Augustus. Now, so you seem like a maniacal guy, right?
BA
you're in
can't
the
speak
stu-
tonight. What's going on?
Maniacal.
BA?
I said maniacal.
I know. It took you a bit. Took you a bit.
Whatever. It's all right. You're in the studio. The sound's going good. The sound's great. The next morning, Montante's in the studio. The sound's all fucked up. So did you sabotage the audio?
I did not touch a thing.
It was Mick. It was Mick.
Yeah.
I have a theory. It was Mick.
It's not Augustus whatsoever. I went
So you
out of
didn't
my way.
sabotage.
I went out of my way to do like 5 or 6 minutes of sound checks, going back and forth, checking everything. Everything was good. I took a quick pee before Kirk got there. Then, we go live and everything's fucking not working. So I don't know what happened. I don't think Mick has the balls to fucking do that.
No, he definitely does, dude. He's nuts. He's fucking nuts.
It had
If Mick actually did it,
yeah.
if Mick actually did it, that's a fucked up move. Like
I think it's Augustus did
That's
something.
hilarious.
No, one mic was way too loud and one mic was way too quiet. He went to the board and slid one thing up and slid one thing down. And there he is. What's up, Tony?
Why the fuck is Tony Cass here? This is VD.
He endorsed you.
Hey, Montante, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Tony Cass. So
I'll
we're
take it.
joined by Tony Cass. Tony Cass wanted to make a quick comment.
I did. Didi invited me on. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Fucking Jared Carabas.
Jared
What do you have to
Carabas
say about
talking to me.
Jared?
We
Back on
survived.
the goddamn show. When Port and I bought the company back, it was a happy day until the first show when they mentioned, yeah, great, Carabas can be back on. Did you notice, by the way, VD, the low-key sensitivity that he's got there?
He mentioned your tweet, exactly. He mentioned your tweet.
Word for fucking word.
Word
And that
for word.
stupid, gonna do a 2-year recap now. Then proceeds to do every single thing he's been criticized for. Doesn't have an opinion on anything, won't criticize anybody. Just right down the center, no enemies made. Fucking boring shit for Robbins.
That was the most boring show in the last month, I will say, by far.
I have
because
to
you asked
say,
me to come on VD, I finished it. But I was gonna leave the last 30 minutes. It was too much.
I knew that was a VD doing. I knew it. VD gets this little fucking shit-eating grin when you do these things.
What do you mean? I told BA I'm inviting Tony Cass on.
Hey,
I wanted his
before
take
you
on
drop me
Carabas.
off, I would like to officially endorse Montante for the position.
Yeah, shut your
Mike,
mouth.
I'm going to tell you right now. You can hate me all you want.
I
actually
think you're a good guy.
on the show.
Oh, thank you.
I actually think you're really good on the show. I enjoy your episodes more than anybody else.
Okay.
If it's not going to be Cullinan or Steve, then I think you're the guy.
I
don't know if
appreciate
it's going to
that.
be
Thank you,
hilarious because it doesn't work.
Well, it could be a part of
Cass,
it.
can we get a take on Augustus' performance?
Gus, that Milton's thing, man. That's what are you thinking there? That's weird. I think Gus and I went to the same high school. I got reason to believe that.
Well, if you're saying that, you don't think you know that.
What high
Did you guys
school?
go to the same high school?
You wouldn't know that.
Mount Hope High School?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No
You had
shit.
the same science class. No, you had the same science class.
Nah,
Cass,
definitely not. He's way younger than I am.
Cass, Mima's in the chat's asking, are those earrings or AirPods?
Both. I doubled up on the earrings from Montante. I was going to go to Target and buy some Bud Light, but all they had was Truly. So I got that instead.
Oh, terrible.
Cass with,
delicious.
a Bud Light. Cass with a Bud Light would have been awesome.
Yeah, they didn't have any. Target was sold out. I'm sorry.
So Montante, do you accept Cass's endorsement?
Yeah,
or-
I just think that shows I can reach across, both aisles here, grab the extreme left and the extreme right, and try to mend everybody together. I think that's what this country
Cass
needs.
is a centrist. Come on,
Turning
drop
down
that.
endorsements.
I got to tell you, I think my big grievance with Steve was he was dumb, but he sounded smart. We do not have that problem with Montante. So,
Well, hey, I'll take your endorsement any way I can get it. Thank you, Tony.
espouse all the theories you like, sir. I'm serious. I really do like you. You're funny.
Cass,
You're on the show.
Thank you very
Cass,
much.
If Kirk asked you, would you go in studio next time Carabas is there as the third chair, like you, Kirk, and Carabas? That would be electric.
Yeah, I mean, I'll argue with anybody about anything.
There
I
we
feel
go.
like if I went in there with Carabas, he's gonna sit there and not have one fucking critical thing to say. Oh,
Well, then
gee,
he'd
you're so
win.
mean. Then he'll pull the big timer. Well, I got followers and I got a show, so I must be better than you.
True. I would
Bueller
like to
saying
see
you
that
sound
battle.
like Bueller saying you sound like Turtle Boy.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Oh, that's actually a great call.
He's not wrong.
So Tony Minestrone, Tony Casanova, the cast man, Tony Glass. I want to because you were a big Steve. You and Steve were together on the first Robinson report. Steve today said, people forget that. Steve today said the candidates lack that disgust from the for the Minifans. He said that's the one thing lacking in all the candidates, that disgust for the Minifans. Because Steve hated the Minifans. He was like. So what do you think about that, Cass?
I gotta say, I think with Justin off the table, he might be right. Because Gus is effectively a Minifan. Let's be honest here. He's hiring. Kirk is effectively hiring out of the audience for his producer position. So it's going to be challenging for them to have contempt for the Minifans unless they're self-loathing. Well, I don't know who the mystery candidate is.
John, what did you think? John,
mood's totally changing the show.
The one thing I would say is I think Quinlan officially hates the Minifans. So
that's probably true.
I think he has the most disgust. Quinlan definitely has.
Quinlan's got a lot of Rico Bosco in him. Like it must be a Staten Island thing. They're both just like, I feel like people there just have short fuses. They go quick.
Over nothing. Gus, good instinct on that audio. That was a good. I would love to hear the friggin' play-by-play.
So
who'd have guessed that set him off?
Gus, let's talk about this. The Quinlan versus you. He gets mad at you. He calls in. What are your thoughts?
I mean, from the beginning of it, shit, I lost my train of thought. I had a thought and I was over. But with the whole situation with Tommy Quinlan, the DM just caught me off guard. And call me a pussy, call me a rat face bitch, whatever. But what really aggravated me was the PRO comment. That's the one that struck a nerve with me. Like, you can say whatever you want about me, but don't fucking question my work ethic. That's the last thing I want to be questioned on, because I give it all my all. Yeah, I crawled on my knees to Milton's through them all. I want this job. I'm going to do anything for it. And I'm going to just see, I'm just going to keep being me. And to go back with the Carabas thing, not Carabas, to the producer needs to load the Minifans. No, we don't, because if any current producer candidate tried to hate the Minifans, it would have come off as disingenuous. And that's not what the show's about.
Well, if they were genuine about it, then it
I have a feeling. I have a feeling if Montante gets that job, he's going to be hating Minifans.
I already hated a decent amount.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Can I say BA though? BA, little bit of hypocrisy on this, because your big criticism of Cullinan early on was you thought that he was not. I mean, Cullinan has some fucking contempt for the Minifans. I think we can all agree on that. He fucking hates Kirk. He doesn't want to say it. He fucking hates a big chunk of the Minifans right now. Yep. And aren't you the guy ripping his King Cully shirt in half because of how sad you were that he wasn't super nice to you?
That was a different That was a different BA.
Fair point, Cass.
That's a good point. I ripped the King Cully shirt like 2 years ago. I think when they started having Carabas in studio, because I was like, fuck Carabas, So I ripped it off at that point, because Cully, when he started out, said he's going to vouch, he's going to bring this back, bring Mike and the Minifans back, bring the network back. He did none of that, so I ripped the shirt, and BA was right. Looking back now, Cully was disappointing. I like Cully, but he was disappointing. He didn't.
Is that nature or nurture? Like, is that a matter of you think that he just started hating what he was doing and didn't want to deal with us, or is it just that Dave just wasn't fucking capable of doing it? I mean, I don't hate Dave, but the guy doesn't strike me as super competent. So
he Philadelphia shuffled us with the whole hits and the 14. He pulled a fast one on everybody.
Also, Kirk cut off his nuts right away when he when he was trying to do stuff. Kirk cut him off. He's like, "You're not talking to these guys. You're not doing the hits anymore. You work for me." So, Cully got his nuts snipped early, and then that's when I.
Do we think, on the neutering note, do we think John Rich is going to have a moment in the next 3 months where Kirk's going to be like, oh my, you were talking to that guy? Like, something where it's like he was fraternizing with an enemy and he's going to go after him. And then
I don't know how that couldn't happen eventually.
Well,
it's gonna happen.
I got bad.
It already fucking happened. You did it with Clemmer already.
You got practice with it with the brick watch, so you just gotta know.
Yeah, that already did happen. Look, it's gonna happen. At some point, I'm going to piss Kirk off, and I'm not going to mean to, and it's probably going to be something I don't even expect, like, at all. But, I mean, I just feel like that's bound to happen, and I'll have to take it. It'll be whatever.
That's basically
but,
what I
like,
was trying to say.
Yeah.
So Cass.
I might need you guys to. Might need you guys to craft me a list of some sort, like a couple of no goes, like a couple of people only.
The dead list. Who's the dead list guy? Deadpool, KMS Deadpool. There's a guy that has a list of everybody that Kirk wishes death upon. So
that's outdated though. That's outdated, I think.
Actually, the chat Squid asked, "What time is Quinlan picking up Tony Cash?" So that was from the Squid.
Squid, that's come on.
That's not nice.
That's out of line.
Problem is we're both tops. So I don't feel like
sword fight.
That's funny.
It's not as much fun as it sounds.
I'll tell you what, VD, you're right. Cass really brings the heat. I'm glad to have.
Well,
I've been a Cass advocate forever.
So someone in the chat was like, "Who is this guy? Should we give him an intro?" Tony Cass, back in the day, he was on the Robinson Report. Then him and Montante hated each other so much. Remember, Montante wouldn't be on the same stream as Tony Cass.
Yeah.
There's a Warden video from back in the day. Maybe we'll try to resurface it. I'll tweet it out. But how Cass body bags Montante.
His presence used to drive me ballistic. But at this point, things have changed. I used to hate Sig. Sig is now the leader of the Montards. So useless the other day. I was like, hey, I'm trying to find interesting audio. Could you try to help me because I can't listen to everything? And he starts sending me tweets that are on my timeline. Like, bro, this is not what I was looking for. Like, I know, I see it too. Anyway, Sig, keep up the support. I appreciate you.
Can I address one of these comments here? Somebody said I was a Tommy guy out of the gate. You're right. Day one after Quinlan, when he did that first show calling his mom, he struck me as in on the joke.
Yeah.
Or whatever, his sister. I was like, I thought, wow, this guy really is in.
Me too.
48 hours later, oh my God, did my mind change? Like, there's no fucking way. Can you imagine? All right, December 2019. The episode entitled The Death of Steve Robinson, where he fucking just rips into Steve for an hour and 45 minutes about Red Sox audio. Can you fucking imagine Quinlan sitting there for more than 45 seconds before he starts crying?
No, I don't think Quinlan would cry. He would start screaming incoherently. That phone call is making money.
He's got the Bosco in him, where I think he would take it in the moment, but then I think he'd go after your family. Quinlan, it's a Staten Island guy thing.
Montante, you have something to say about that?
Well, yeah, no, his instinct definitely for Mick was after he wanted to beat him up, then he could write a book report on Mick right now if he wanted to. So there's some similar crossover. Kind of.
But those are two extremely sensitive people going at each other.
Yeah.
But then yesterday,
Mick might be the only one less stable than fucking Quinlan.
No, I agree. Mick is Quinlan's 2. It's Mick 1, Quinlan 2. 100%.
Quinlan had 15 opportunities yesterday to either back down from the phone call, hang up, or go. He just got angrier and angrier and angrier, which I thought was superb.
If Mick had any fucking sense of humor at all, he'd have brought a cake with him today for Quinlan. It said something like "Sorry for your loss" on the call, or something like that. But it's just,
sorry, Andrew hurt your feelings.
Yeah. So DJ2
Andrew always bringing it back to himself, huh? Kid's got a gift. Kid's got a gift.
The thing about this about Quinlan.
Wait, one sec. Augustus, I might ask you for a second. DJ2 said Quinlan is the thinnest skinned pussy to ever step foot in the studio. I think Quinlan has a lot of Steve in him, as he would be a doxer of people. Like he'll go out, he'll say like you already started with Mick. Oh, Mikey, are you talking about Mick or are you talking about Mikey?
That's why Steve likes him.
That's a funny subtle line though, because it could easily go right past you.
Yeah. Okay, Augustus, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I just think that Quinlan's at a point in his career where he needs to make a choice. If he wants to keep being this next top talk show host in this news realm like Gene does, then get the fuck out of this race. If you want to be part of this world and get into the KMS side, you have to go all in on it.
Did you just call Gene Valicenti a top talk show host?
I mean, technically in Rhode Island, he is.
Yeah, I grew up in Rhode Island. I don't know about that characterization, guys. I'm not sure there.
But you get the point. Like he wants to still be in that news kind of semi-professionally world, and not in this where the Minifan world is not that it's not professional, but it's more free flowing, more speak your mind, more.
I think it's kind of safe to say it may not be professional at all times. I don't think that's far fetched.
Well, you were just fucking
you crawled around the mall the other day.
Yeah,
you're
but
you know,
there's still a professional component to it. Like I'm not going to say it's just like a show you dick around because it's not.
You're crawling through the mall and asking your family to get Spider-Man butt plugs for you and your wife. You know, so it's Joe, do you have that picture? Do you have the picture of the person that couldn't join us today? Look at this guy's face. Though, eh?
Look at Montante. That video of him walking into the studio with you today, I was shocked.
Dude, it's startling. He's like a little bobblehead.
When you made eye contact with the camera, I burst out laughing, man.
It's like he's like a bullfrog, like storing things in his fucking cheek.
He definitely is. Yeah, it's remarkable.
Mick today, he's a wild guy. He has the skinniest fat face. His ideas are like regurgitations of what everyone talks about. Oh, let's do a 24-hour live thing.
Let's do a new pitch 3 times.
Let's do a newsletter.
Pitch.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Kirk must have tried to get him off of that goddamn pitch 4 times and he just kept going right. Well, let me read more of my pitch. Like the next line is the one that's going to land. Everything is falling flat. He's getting his shit on constantly. Just put your head down, charge through it.
There's something to respect about that, though. I love Mick. I don't think Mick should be the producer, but I would like Mick in the studio.
VD, can we get into that, to the moment today, behind the scenes, that actually is the craziest thing of all time?
Gotta quit. So wait, Warden said Mick looked like he put his face in a beehive. Something's not right there. Can you put the picture of Mick up one more time with that comment, Joe? I just want to.
Oh, Joe's the one running this right now?
And the comments? Let's see if it does look like a beehive. I think it checks out. It does kind of look. It looks like it looks like he got stung by a bee.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
So with Mick too. Sorry, Montante, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, so you Mick's like intimidating that picture. So at like 20-30 minutes after we're done, I think VD assumes that like I'm just leaving. He wasn't too far off, but he calls me and I answer. I'm in the studio, like Mick's sitting there. Big bobblehead looking at his computer, Cullinan's in the other room. And I'm like, hey, I'm like with everybody. Like, what's up? He's like, oh, can you put me on with Mick? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. Put the phone on speaker, give it to Mick. He's like, hey, Dave, what's up? And you're just like, hey, like, hope all's well. Like, can you please do me a favor? Can you just unblock me? And without hesitation, he didn't think about it. He just goes, oh, yeah, you didn't check during the show? Yeah, you're unblocked. No one thinks anything of it. 2 hours later, VD texts me. He's like, this cocksucker, he lied. He's still blocked. He's just a maniac. He's a fucking madman. Why lie like that? That guy's capable of anything.
Also, Mick today, when he said he was on the Euro dark web to get some fucking story about the Saudis.
I still feel like we moved past that too quickly. Like, I feel like I tried to put him on blast and he still got let off too easy by saying
he filled us in after he filled us in after the show.
He's in Belgrade.
What is it? What did he fill you in on?
It's something that I could have told you 2 years ago, that there's multiple shooters and there's like people like cell phone footage proving that. But he can you scrub this, Joe, please? Like, hey, what a weirdo! What an absolute weirdo!
Will you call him and see if he'll come on?
I'll call him right now. He's not going to answer.
One of the things too about his like concern about getting sued. Journalism 101. As soon as you get that person's consent that they're recording, you're done. You have the consent. You can use it. End of story. You're not going to get sued by her. Tough shit. She shouldn't have. She shouldn't have talked.
Even if
you really think that Mick knows how to get on the Euro dark web?
No.
Like, is that? I mean, honestly, is that
what the fuck is the Euro cast? What's the Euro dark web, brother? Like,
he
did a site .eu.
You gotta go to Belgrade. You got to go to Belgrade.
Bakwa said his Montante.
What happens if he answers?
Tell him to come on. And he'll be
He's
like,
not going
okay,
to.
I will. And then he'll say, yeah, I will. And then he just won't.
John, are on. They want to talk to him.
John Rich is like, what the fuck did I get myself?
Yeah,
into?
John, what did you get yourself into,
Dude.
buddy? You could be having fun in Jersey City right now, be on Hoboken, you're doing
You
this.
can leave at any time. You can leave at any time.
No, I do got to get going here in a minute. Look, I'm
Attaboy.
just a fly on the wall right now. I'm trying to learn some shit. I feel so far behind anytime like I talk with you guys just because I'm so new to this. So just learn.
Well, John Rich, can you let the curtain for us? What was Augustus's pitch to you to recruit you onto his team?
So Augustus essentially got my endorsement just through sheer force of will by acquiring my phone number, texting me.
What?
Relentlessly might be too big of a word, but
he wasn't DMing you?
Wait,
How did he get your number?
How the fuck did he get your cell phone number?
He gave it to me. I DM'd him. I gave him my number.
I guess I gave it to him. I don't even.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I
Jeez.
probably
Okay.
did.
All right. That. Okay.
I said, if you ever need
Look,
anything,
I don't know what I'm getting into, guys.
John, so would you say Augustus is kind of like the Bill Cosby of the producer race? How he forces himself onto people?
Yeah, definitely. Not Louis C.K. at least.
Maybe Louis C.K.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, I don't want to be
like
too
me,
much, but no, like
That's
basically just through sheer force of will. I wasn't ready to give an endorsement on the show today, and then when Kirk put me on the spot, I was like, well, who's been talking to me every day and giving me all these like different ideas and like pitching me different stuff? Like it's Augustus. So
Are you withdrawing your endorsement?
What are your rankings? What are your rankings tonight? Top three.
What are my rankings tonight? So Quinlan goes from the fucking top to the bottom for me, so I never know where to put it.
No pun intended.
But I guess right now, again, because he made it happen, Augustus is number one. I do think I know Montante the least, but
People forget I DM'd John Rich the day you got hired. Say congratulations, you deserved it. No big deal. Don't worry about
I'm
it.
assuming that's true. But no, so I'm gonna go with Montante second. Even though I don't know you that well, I feel like you're more of a wild card, and I don't think the technical shit matters.
Yeah.
Like, I think
Yeah.
he's funny. He's good
Amen.
second. Mick is last. Mick is definitely.
Whoa. So who gets it? Quinlan or Mick? Though, who would be your third?
Yeah, you got to pick.
No, I
Or
gotta
Josh.
go.
What about Josh?
The fact that
Oh,
Quinlan
yeah. Sorry.
fluctuates so
I like
much
Josh.
puts him above Mick. Mick's always been last for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Josh might have been the Jehovah's Witness knocking on Mick's door. Like, I don't know if that guy can handle this world. He's way too like
that's not
innocent and nice. He seems pleasant and polite. Like,
Yeah.
The Clemmer. So John Clemmer started out on the Kirk Minahan YouTube network. He did the show Quantum Week, with Matt Carano. My old show Minsalinta led into him, and he would always get pissed because we would run late, and he would start being like, "VD, can you do the Clemmer? You have the Clemmer impression."
Ooh.
Well,
Yeah, you guys ever seen Ice Age? No, I can't. The script to Ice Age, there's contingency errors. I can't do it right now.
Yeah, so
that worked for me.
Clemmer is
Robert's
like
impression of Tom Shattuck.
The thing about Ice Age is like it's a good movie.
That's funny. That was good. But so Clemmer is like a Kirk Minahan YouTube network turned into third chair, turned to Barstool. So what did you think about him versus Portnoy this week? The general public, it was like a David versus Goliath story. Clemmer came out as the unsung hero. What did you think about that?
Dude, Clemmer impressed me, honestly. Like that was I don't know if I've ever really seen somebody like dig their heels in. Definitely not in like Clemmer's position. I mean, like obviously like Kirk will and like Whitney will. Like all those people do it all the time. But that was fucking crazy. And I was only like kind of half listening because I was doing the rundown. I had like a Zoom rundown thing going on the other end of the office. So I was kind of in and out. I think what he did was good, and I don't think he regrets it. Like I think he might have days.
No, he definitely doesn't. He survived it, so he doesn't regret it.
I don't know. He does at the same time too.
Who was right?
He was rattled. Like he was rattled.
Yeah.
Like,
John, who was right?
The amount of times he said that he wasn't rattled.
This is a good move by John. This is a good move by John.
What was that?
I
John, who was
appreciate
right?
Yeah.
Wait, do we have Mick?
Oh,
what's up, fellas? Can you hear me?
Why is there a sack over your head? Are you all right?
He's in the trunk of the Saudi car.
I'm driving home.
He's
I'm
on the
driving
dark
home.
web.
Listen to me. I'm driving home right now. I saw Montante's call. I just joined the show. What's up?
What do you have to say for
happy.
Mick? What do you have to say for yourself?
Nick, why did you lie about unblocking me?
John Rich says you come in last.
PD, you blocked me, you son of a bitch.
Oh well, yeah, because you had me blocked, so I reciprocated.
Yeah, you're not telling that side of the story.
Well, because if you're gonna block me, I don't want you to have the privilege of seeing my tweets, so I block you. I'll unblock you if you unblock me right now.
Hey, well, you're already unblocked. We'll do this in 10 minutes when I get home. Okay, I'll be home in 10 minutes.
Okay, Mick.
Give us
Mick has
does that happen?
Mick just did
0% chance he's coming back.
Let's see if he comes home in 10 minutes. Mick, thank you for doing
Tell
digital
us when.
blackface.
Tell if VD unblock him and see if he actually unblocked you.
I just did. I'm going to it now. I was still blocked when I tried to tag him in a tweet like 2 hours ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So John Rich, I just want to let you know I'm a big fan of Fastenal. I might be one of the only few people who actually comprehend. Yeah, they came. I used to work at Public Works, and they came, did a huge presentation. Yeah, it's pretty much like a fucking vending machine for like gloves and shit.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I was stocking those vending machines like a motherfucker. High as fuck on heroin the whole time.
Does that well, you know, some people here can relate to that. Is that a decent
maybe
paying
I
job?
say that. Can I get in trouble?
No. You're good. You're good.
That's okay. We can say
That's in
whatever.
your past. Yeah, multitasking is impressive. Was that a decent paying job or?
No, it actually was. Yeah, decent. It was decent for Ohio.
Why did you start doing drugs? I did drugs because I got molested. Why did you start doing drugs?
I wanted to be cool.
There's gotta be some
because I wanted to be cool and they felt awesome.
What's your childhood trauma though? Every drug addict has some childhood trauma.
Dude,
it could be as subtle as your dad didn't like you, or you know, or you never felt accepted. You know, it doesn't have to be you got molested. It could be like it could be anything. But there's some trauma there.
Maybe you molested somebody. You feel terrible about it.
No, I've never molested somebody.
Are you an only child?
Dude, I have the most like boring, like vanilla, like childhood. My parents were great. I had 2 younger brothers, played sports.
That could be it.
There's really no reason I should have just started doing drugs. Like I don't have like a reason other than
growing up in
Ohio. Have the gene. Like it felt awesome,
that's fair.
And I did it all the time.
Where in Ohio?
Do you think marijuana is a gateway drug?
Yeah.
Yes.
God, no.
Yes.
No, people that I know that do like heroin, all would say that did heroin. They all say marijuana is 100% a gateway drug.
Yeah, but that's just because it's the first one you get. You'd end up doing heroin if weed didn't exist. Alcohol is a gateway drug.
I went right from alcohol to cocaine.
I don't know though. No, I do because you smoke weed. I don't know why I'm making this argument, but like you smoke weed and like you hear your whole life like how bad it is. Oh, it's scary. You smoke it and you're perfectly fine. So it's like, oh, all right. Then I wondered, cocaine's probably the same. Like any kind of pill is probably the same because like once you smoke weed and like you survive it and like it's totally fine, and then other people are doing it. It's like if this person who gave me weed is now telling me to take a Percocet, it's like that's probably the same thing. Like that's fine. There's something to that.
One of the private chatters said that John Rich had the most lame drug stories of all time.
Dude, those are the worst stories I've ever told.
Was that your biggest regret from the in studio appearance?
100%. For some reason in my head, I was like, "Oh, these are like really funny stories," and the stories just amounted to, "I just got ripped off for $300."
You just got beat every time. So if you just to say, for argument's sake, the stories are 2 minutes long. At like what point did you know these are gonna flop, but I have to see them through like 45
seconds? That's the worst
seconds?
feeling. That's the worst feeling.
You gotta see it through.
I think my story was like 20 seconds long, and I think I knew 5 seconds.
I had a 0 to that. That sucker went on for a little bit.
Y'all did it? Jeez, I just blacked out. I think I just blacked out during those stories.
That's the worst when you're telling a story and like halfway through you realize like, oh, this is not going to be funny, but you can't just stop. That's one of the worst feelings ever.
You're on an island because you're a pussy if you stop.
Yeah.
It was rough. I should have gone back to the drawing board on that one.
Trigger warning: you can't say cocaine in front of BA. I actually prefer the term plant-based. I only do plant-based, or I only used to do.
Well, you used to do plant-based.
I used to do 3 months.
Heroin's plant-based.
Yeah, that's right. So my whole line was like, I only do plant-based drugs. So almost all of them are. So.
I was gonna ask John.
No,
after Kirk asked you if you suck dick for drugs, did you have like a thought like I kind of wish I did because it would have been a good story?
Yeah, I guess maybe. If I would have had the opportunity, I never had a good enough opportunity. I mean, there's obviously a certain amount of drugs you would do it for. Like
how much
you
drugs?
can come up on a life-changing amount of drugs and like
What would that constitute? How much would
kind of like the same
amount
thing.
of drugs be?
It's kind of like the story.
Trying to hook you up with some.
But it's kind of like, would you suck dick for $1 million kind of thing?
$1 million.
Remember when that was Quinlan's kind of opening to being gay? He's like, yeah, when my friends would ask me would I suck his dick for $100,000, I'm like, yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking?
Yeah. Like that was not relatable.
Yeah, no, none of my friends ever did that.
Or $0, whichever.
Yeah, exactly.
Got a better chance of seeing Deserted Truth episode 3 than seeing Mick back on the show tonight. Patrick Ford. I think actually shout out Patrick Ford. He was fighting with Whitney about the list, and I think Patrick Ford was right. Whitney shouldn't have been 27th, but 27th is a good position for like Gus. How much would you suck dick for the job?
Ooh.
Yes.
Whose?
Well,
You suck dick for Kirk's job?
He just crawled around a mall for fun. Yeah.
That's a little different than sucking a dick.
So then I want to throw this out there. If Montante, would you crawl around?
No.
Would you crawl around the mall? How about you?
No, I'll drive 7 hours each way. That sucks. Trust me. I'm not giving head or walking around a mall.
But hey, don't be bragging. Quinlan drove 45 minutes to the studio.
An hour. Let's be factually accurate here.
Sorry.
Augustus hates Quinlan, eh? What
I know, it's remarkable.
Have you and Quinlan talked?
He's got justification for hating Quinlan, I think. Quinlan's a dick. That was way out of line.
You know what Kirk needs to do at Saco? We need to have some 1v1s. Like the final two, there needs to be like a 1v1, like Augustus versus Quinlan, like a round robin 1v1.
Is Quinlan even going to show up? I don't think he's going to show up.
He's part of the VIP, bro. He's getting.
I don't think Mick has a history of not showing up to Saco.
Oh,
either.
no shot.
Mick's gonna show up. Yeah.
John Rich, is there any chance you'll be in? You don't have to. Is there any chance you'd be interested in going to Saco at the end of the month?
Dude, I think so. Actually, that's another thing Augustus is texting me about. I probably will. Kirk's gonna be in New York next week. I think is that next week. Kirk's in New York.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to him there. Like if he wants me there, I will be.
I'll pick you up in JC.
I got nothing else going on.
I'll pick you up in JC, and I got 6 hours to radicalize you. See if I can bring you over to the right side.
Hell yeah! All right, hell yeah. Let's do it.
You're from the Bible. You're from the Bible Belt. I thought we'd have an easy chance there. That's all your old.
Ohio.
We got a challenge here.
What's it called? No, Ohio's a swing state. A swing state. We're all over the place.
Was it Blind Mike the other day who said Ohio? No, Justin Trudell said Ohio is no longer a swing state. It's now officially red, which is a wild, bizarre comment.
John Nelson in the chat said Montante is a big scoop, but he's not allowed to release it until he's hired. Is there truth to that?
Who said that?
John Nelson.
Who the fuck is that?
John Nelson's credible source.
I got no scoops.
You're holding a scoop hostage?
Got no scoops. So trust me. After a couple pops, all the scoops come out. I got no scoops.
So Augustus, how many DMs did you send to Obama's gay lover to convince him to come on? What did you?
That is a great guy. I was
super jealous of that. To get him on.
Are you full of shit or is that real? Do you actually have that?
I have been messaging him. He's listening.
How do you know it's actually that person?
It's probably some asshole in Delaware with no relation to him. Yeah, it's probably some kid.
Probably John Rich.
I have spoken with him today.
It'd be funnier if he got tricked.
Yeah, it would be funny.
If I get tricked, and I own it.
How did you get it? What was your steps to get in touch with him? What did you do?
Step number 1. This might surprise you guys. I DM Steve Robinson.
Okay. Surprise me. Go on.
Strong move.
Because I DM Steve because if there's anyone in this world that would have a connection to Tucker's people who would have that connection, he would have it. He gave me the friendly. He goes. It's a fair. Sources get traded. I go fair enough, and then he goes. It took me 5 minutes to find them.
There, Steve's back. So
that was all I needed, and then it took me 5 minutes.
Like a hard guy to find.
No, he's not. Oh, he's not. He is not.
Yeah.
So I sent him the show.
Go ahead.
He's listening to the show today, and he said he's gonna get back to me tomorrow with his final decision.
Well,
I'm gonna keep working on this guy.
Listening? I don't know.
I'm working on him. I told him we want to help share his story.
Tell him there's clout. Tell him there's
God,
clout.
I hope
involved.
someone's fucking with you so bad.
I hope
Yeah.
if it is, I'll take the bait.
and if somebody is faking it, I'll take the fake Sinclair in Montante's world any day of the week.
Augustus, what's your stance on Jay's mayhem? Are you thinking of bringing him in on the intern team?
I mean, honestly, I was gonna just offer Mick an intern job because he said he'd work for free. So just cut out the middleman, and there he goes.
Oh,
Savage,
Goose,
I like that.
So Montante, I actually have a question for you. There was allegations that you stole Warden of North Cliff. Can you talk? about that?
It's not only an allegation; it's confirmed.
Yeah,
So
it's confirmed.
I saw the tweet. It was up for like an hour, and then I went on. I know how to rip like Twitter videos, like make them like into MP3s. I was like, do I have the ability to? Whatever. MP4s. That's an MP4. My apologies. I was like, do I have the ability to take fucking Trump saying you're fired and like splice it into a video? It took like 20 minutes, but I eventually figured it out. And I posted it on the same. I posted it in the same thread that his shit was on. So I didn't like think anything of it. But within 5 minutes, he's like DMing me and like posting about it. I was like, hey, if I offended you by doing that, like it was meant to be like obviously like cheesy and like that was not my own work. So I apologize. Yeah, I stole the fuck out of that video and I would do it again.
Good job.
Yeah, well, what, am I going to edit the same video? He edited it for me and did a better job, so I took it.
And that kind of brings up with when everyone keeps talking about technology. It's in the producer's room. Yes, the technology in that producer's room, simple to use, simple to get the show running. In that, I think one thing a lot of people, and I haven't brought it up on the show either, so it's also I'm in the wrong on this, is outside the studio. Cullinane and Steve produced all the Wilbur videos. They were traveling all over the place, so the ability, I think, to have a producer who can cut those clips, know all that outside of that producer's room is key. And that's one factor I think none of the candidates have really talked about, myself included in that.
Well, I think we learned how that goes with live shows next time. So you're better off. You're better off fucking hiring a third party.
Well, why hire a third party if you know how to do it and have the skills to do it?
Do you know how to run a live show?
Yes.
No, fuck out of here. No way.
No, I'm not talking about a live show. What I'm talking about is, if you want to talk about
said to you, do you know how to run a live show?
Yes. Have I run a live show? Yes, I have run a live show before. I know how to.
This is where the active listening.
I mean, just shell out some pay the professional, pay a third party knows how to do live events like that. If the thing will go smoothly, you'll still make a shit ton of money from the live events. You need someone who can go in studio, make sure the show goes good and sounds good and is good. That's all. The fucking producer should not have to be doing sound and shit at a fucking venue.
I'm not talking about the production of like the live show on that from a live streaming standpoint. What I'm talking about is videos that get played at the Wilbur. All that recording and editing through.
Oh, gotcha. I got you.
That's what I'm talking about. Because that is an important part of it, and we saw that in Plymouth, or we couldn't hear it, but we kind of saw it.
I got what you're saying, actually. Okay,
so it's like having those things is important to have.
Matt W says, "I trusted Plymouth sound guy. They recommended."
Hey Gus, let me ask you a question. So
go ahead, Gus.
On that live show concept, right?
Yep.
Are you saying that? So the fuck ups have some value because they add the content on the show. Like clearly the fuck ups generate funny content for the actual podcast. So would you rather have the fuck ups for the funny content for the podcast, or what Montante is saying to bring in the professional to guarantee that like the fuck ups don't exist and the live show goes off smooth?
Well,
which of those would be a priority in your mind?
If you're streaming live, definitely bring in that third party, because at the end of the day, you're always going to need that extra factor. If you like, they've talked about on the show about having this a pay-per-view. Now, exactly from a live show, I think having Julie there and working with Julie, the producer, and Julie, or whoever the crossing the I's and dot the T's person. Every time Kirk says it on the show, it's always Julie. So it's like
I like how you just asked: is your priority somebody who sucks at the job or somebody who can actually do it?
No,
the question.
You broken down the question.
That's not a bad question. It's not a bad question.
But I think at the end of the day, if you can handle it. Yes, because one of the first things I did when I left Plymouth was I told my cousin, what they should always have is their own wireless mic system that's a 300-foot radius, because at least you could have a reliable line from the soundboard all the way back to the Plymouth sound guy, and at least you have 300 feet around you that mic's always going to work as a backup if the house mics are fucking up like they were in Plymouth.
That's a different thing though than the video production, because the video production, the wireless mics wouldn't have fixed that.
No, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean video production? Like, are you talking about the recorded videos?
Yeah.
So those that I would rather edit those myself because I actually know how to do it, and I've done it before.
The editing wasn't the problem; the execution was the problem.
Yeah. So, what I would do in those, what are you actually trying to ask then? Like, from a live show standpoint, you're talking about what? Like hiring.
The videos were edited fine, they just weren't played right. It wasn't played with the sound, the levels weren't right, and all that.
Well, that's
you just seem really confident that you can manage a lot of moving parts at a live show.
I could manage that because here's
how do you know that? What's your basis for that statement?
Because you always have backups. That's your answer. I am always going around with two computers. When I went into the studio yesterday, this whole sound setup that I have in my office, I took in there as a backup. I didn't know if there was going to be a fourth chair in there, because if there was a fourth chair in there, I wanted to hook up my sound.
You brought all your equipment in there?
Yes.
Yeah, but how does a backup help the sound being off?
Because you have to identify in the pre-show and the warm-up, like, why is this working? And then as soon as that issue fixed, I'm a big hardwire guy.
But in the case of working remotely, though, you can't guarantee that everything you bring is going to be compatible with what's there. So how do you?
The wireless mic would be its own thing, which gets hardwired into the soundboard, and that direct soundboard from the stages, that's what gets hardwired into the main sound.
Hey, Augustus, I have a question.
Was playing like an 8mm reel, so how would you connect your modern equipment to that?
What do you? An 8mm reel?
Like the projector in Saco. Do you know how old that was?
I feel like Joe right now. I'm tuning out. I don't know, but what do you guys think?
You're fine.
Let Tony cook.
In Saco, what my assumption in Saco would be, without having seen the setup, is that you're going to connect a computer to the projector to get it on the screen.
Gus, how would your past coworkers describe you?
Energetic, psychotic, probably.
Do you ever have any workplace drama?
No.
No.
Why would you have workplace drama?
Bro, everyone has workplace drama.
Oh, I got
everyone has a coworker they don't fucking like. Yeah, come on.
Well, yeah, I've had coworkers I don't like and stuff, but it's not like I'm gonna cause shit. Like, I'm not gonna go after a coworker in the middle of a workday, because at the end of the day, we're all trying to work together. I think I'm adult enough to be like, all right, I don't like you, but I can just keep moving on and do shit.
These answers are too canned. Everyone had a work they fucking hated. There's always drama at the workplace.
I'm not saying there's no one that I worked with I hated, but I'm also mature enough to the point that I'm not gonna start shit. Like, there's no benefit to starting shit in the professional settings that I was in. Now,
who's the biggest asshole at WPRO?
The biggest, Dan York, without a doubt.
Sounds like there was some workplace drama.
Before him was
John Rich. You go. You're good. I feel bad. You probably want to go do something. Like, dude, I feel like, yeah, that's mean. What? That's an old photo. That's a skinny me.
Look at your arm.
Kid's hot. Show Vinny. Show my dad.
I gotta find him.
Show Vincenzo. It's a shocking image. But John, bro, you live like in a fun part of New Jersey. Like, go out in Hoboken if you want to go do something, bro. You don't like. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm trying to help you here.
I was with you guys until Augustus got all talking about.
That's your boy. That's your boy.
I tell you, I had a Joe moment there where I was like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?"
Well, that's my deceased friend. So let's not do that. Let's not do that, VD. Let's try to find my father. There we go.
There was one more thing about today's show that kind of struck me a bit, and that was when Mick brought up the newsletter. And that came up after John Rich called, after he said he'd be willing to work with anybody. How does Mick not propose the newsletter and say, I'd ask John Rich to write it? If there's anyone out of this producer search that's come out, John Rich is the best writer by far.
All right, newsletter. I could use a little help from you guys probably, but I'd do it.
Who reads the goddamn newsletter?
But
I
I wouldn't even make it. I wouldn't say a newsletter.
It's
It
called
would
Twitter. It's called
It
Twitter.
would be a blog post.
That's a good point.
Remember back at the beginning
It
of the show
exists
with
already.
At the beginning of the show with Steve would have blog posts, like kind of little summaries that would go up on the Barstool website. I think
Maybe
that
you could make something funny. Like it wouldn't. You can make something funny different than Twitter. I guarantee if I did it, I guarantee it wouldn't be what Mick was thinking. But I could make something.
Well,
It
Mick
would
was down
be
here in 2
funny.
minutes.
It would be funny if you like did a parody of the Mutt Stack and did that like weekly or something like that. You know, like if you did like
Thursday
that would be
3-pack
funny.
or something.
Like the Thursday 3-pack or.
What's that?
Is there still Greyhound racing anywhere?
Cass, I'm sorry. I whatever you said, I'm sure it was good. My fucking
Yeah,
Wi-Fi
in Miami,
stinks.
they still race greyhounds. In
Where
Miami.
is Mick?
Oh yeah.
That could be
In
his
Meadowlands they do.
his
Meadowlands
Mustang.
they do.
Instead of horses, you could do greyhounds.
That shit's like too degenerate even for me.
I feel like should we even get? Has it been 10 minutes? Are we gonna give Mick another?
Mick
minute? I don't know.
said
We're at
Mick
20
said
minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes. Yeah.
Did he say 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way,
I
Augustus,
Yeah.
I heard this would be one of the few jobs where it actually wouldn't be an issue. Poor Johnny. He could be out there in fucking Hoboken having fun with his life. He's hostage here.
John's his own man. He could leave if he
Augustus,
wants.
do you? He's too nice. I don't think he can. This is the. Do you have your own like Murchison?
Yeah.
Me?
No.
I did.
Yeah,
did.
Gus. Gus has
I
his
did.
own Murchison.
I do.
Get the hell out of here.
What is that? Yeah. What is that from? Because I feel like you don't have any scorching
What's their
hot
name?
takes.
Name? Do you not name names?
Just look in the Huffington Post. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I'm out here doing podcasts, calling Michelle Obama a man and
Augustus has
stuff,
been
and I'm
canceled
good.
twice. He's been canceled twice.
He's
Can
like
I
the
get
most
it off the Euro
uncancelable guy
dark
of all
web?
time.
What are you talking about? Who's your Murchison? For what?
Oh yeah. He just said he
I'll
can't
have
say her
one
name.
I'll give
when
you
you say
clips
the
of it.
name.
It
I'll
does
give
say
the
his
clip.
name or their name.
No,
whatever.
legally he
I
can't.
know
I
that.
respect that.
Montante, what should do is 28.
Well, I'm not too far removed. I'm 3 years, believe it or not, in about
31.
50 minutes. 50, yeah. And then I'm 50 minutes from Hoboken, from the boat.
But
Um,
she's
Come hang in Hoboken sometime.
the way.
John.
Yeah, I worked at 20 minutes from there.
John, is there anything like I know you said you want to know more? Is there anything you wanna? Is there anything that you don't understand or you wanted to ask us?
So
like,
much.
what? Do you have anything off the top of your head?
Everything. There's too much to ask a question. I don't know. There's a lot I don't understand. I always appreciate when Justin will send them to me. I always he'll randomly think of an episode to go listen to. I always listen to those. That's the kind of shit that I like doing. I'm caught up on the last I went back a month and started listening, and then I've just been picking and choosing old random episodes. So if anybody, I love when people give me requests like that. I feel like that's the best way.
I
There
think
he
one
is.
of the things that the Quantum Kirk guys should do would be the Minifan versus Mincel war.
Okay.
That one's funny. There's one Doxapalooza that's good. The Rich Keller experience, I think, is one of the best ones to listen to.
All right.
Mick,
What's up, buddy?
Beyond Average Mick.
What's up, yeah?
So people have been talking a lot of shit about you, so I'm glad that you're here to defend yourself.
Mhm.
First off, I just want to say, how do you get on Euro Dark Web? Do you just do .eu or what?
Yeah, that's right. No,
How's it so
Bel-
dark?
the fact you use Belgrade as the example was.
I work with a
incredible.
bunch of Serbians. And that's
Okay.
kind of how that's how it all came together. You think I'm joking? I swear to God, that's how I got to it.
I could find
most
videos of the two shooters on fucking Twitter right now. That you don't have to
You can
use
find ones that have surfaced. Yeah, you find ones that you've seen for sure. It's the same ones that I've seen, but I don't think you've seen this one.
Wow. So people putting you at the bottom of the list. What do you have to say about that? No one, your
my dog's
peers
got
don't
you. I'll be right
respect
back.
you.
I'll be
The
right
peers don't. Your peers don't respect you. It's clear. What do you have to say?
I have no problem with that. I think the only really opinion that matters is the one person who we all know. And as long as I'm just still getting asked back, I'm just going to still act as if I still have a chance of getting the job. I kind of was getting into that today where I wasn't sure. I kind of was word fumbling it, but that was kind of what I want to know. I'm like, is this more of a bit or do I actually have a chance at this? And I mean, maybe he was lying right to my face, but I don't think I would be asked back there unless there was a chance to contribute. Maybe not now, or it could be the future or something or any role. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I'm not pretending like I'm a polished, podcast producer and I'm great on the air.
Montante's not here. Did you sabotage him?
People are saying you're the one that sabotaged.
Yeah, did you fuck with his mic? Is that?
I would never do that.
Yes.
Interesting.
I wouldn't do that.
I don't.
I would never do that. You think I would
It's
do
either
that?
you or Gus. It's either you or Gus. One of you two.
I'll just say this.
Ask Cullinane. Ask Cullinane.
Cullinane
didn't touch shit.
Cullinane was had some questions about it too. So I mean, I don't know. If you believe Montante, he said the test run went well. I was getting sound in the back, so I mean, I didn't really do the whole test run. I don't know. It did sound good to me before we started, and then for some reason, Montante did not sound too well there. I don't know if someone messed with the settings. That would have been too bad.
Now I think that you want people to think you messed with it.
I'm just no, but I didn't.
You didn't mess with it.
I didn't. I wouldn't do that. One, because it's not my show, and two, like I wouldn't. I dislike Montante a little bit, but I wouldn't like try to sabotage him trying to get a job.
There was some sabotage, I think.
It's just
like,
I just don't
John?
get it. Like there's like one setting. Like I don't know how.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's why, because it's not like I can make a setting to make it sound fidgety and squeaky like it was. Like it was.
Not like
sounded like it was broken.
shit around.
Yeah.
Mick, let me ask you something. Mick, why do you think people are putting you at the bottom of the list?
I think a lot of times, like, you know, I think a lot of people don't really like and I said this on the second time that I was in there. Like I think a lot of people take me too literal. Like they're taking like I'm not. Maybe I come off as like someone who's overconfident, and I know that, but like I know I'm very much an idiot. Like, and I think people haven't really caught on to the fact that I'm the most aware of that.
So you think you're self-aware?
Yeah, like that's why I was trying to say that on the show. Like I'm very like I figured I fuck around with the Minifans on Twitter and stuff like that. But I will say, like I have a very quick, like it goes quick, and like that's where I think VD could attest to this. Like if I just kind of like snap on something and like harp on it, like I just kind of get too focused on it, and I overdo it. I don't know.
Are you really sensitive?
No, that's what I'm saying. Not normally, but again, I guess with certain things.
Why do people say that?
Well, again,
That's a
right?
common refrain, very common refrain. Why
I
do
feel like
people
a
say
sensitive
that?
person would say they're not sensitive, but
Guys,
John. Oh, you're getting out of here?
I'm out of here, guys.
See you, buddy.
Later, John.
Thanks. So Mick, you say you're not sensitive, but you're self-aware.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm the most
BA.
thick skin. I'm not. You know what I mean? I get a little rattled at things for sure, like everybody. But like, I would never let it like. You know, I think people, that's where they misconstrue like me taking a break from Beyond Average and all that. It wasn't
Why
just
did you block VD?
Because again, he tweeted out that I couldn't be on this show back when before the producer race really even got going. It was just getting going, and Kirk saw it and was like, "Okay, this guy's not taken serious."
And to be clear, that's not you being sensitive.
Well, is that sensitive? Because I was just like, at this point, this is me, Tony. At this point, I was like, all right, well, this is all done with. Like, I'm just kind of good with this guy. Like, what am I going to communicate with him for after that? Did you honestly think family like Tommy Quinlan's doing and like, you know, try to threaten him? I just said, all right, I'm good.
But the question is not, are you more sensitive than Tommy Quinlan? The question was, are you sensitive?
Is that a sensitive move to block someone after you're just like, yo, I'm good? I'm you know what I mean? I guess a little bit. Yeah, I was a little sensitive there, but that's also because I wanted a chance at this job.
Why is it that you were mad at Montante for making the comment about kicking your girlfriend? What was that?
Montante knows exactly why.
Was that not sensitive?
It's Tony, because Tony, we're years now, almost years later, and we're still talking about it because I said, hey, let's not talk about it. But yet what happens is now
you seem pretty aggravated about it for it being years later if you're not sensitive about it.
I know what you're doing, Tony. I know what you're doing, Tony. I'm not aggravated by it.
What is it that I'm doing?
You probably are a little bit, Mick. But so, Mick, did you honestly think a Jehovah's Witness was paid by the Saudis to come find you or whatever?
I'm just saying, Kirk seems to think that's only coincidental. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I'm not making up any of this. I have pictures. I'll send it to you, BA, because you're the historian. I'll send you the picture of my broken door.
No, you're
okay. So, Mick, what is more likely? Two Jehovah's Witnesses visited your house and your window was broken, or the Saudis are trying to kill you. Which of those is the more likely scenario?
I don't know. You're going to keep asking me. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
More likely is probably the two Jehovah's Witnesses and a bird flew into my window, right? That's more likely.
Correct.
Most people don't, most people aren't researching the Vegas shooting and putting out conspiracy podcasts. So I don't know.
Mick,
two episodes? You think those 2 episodes got the Saudis on you?
Do you have a question, Gus?
I was just gonna say, can I give Mick the advice I kind of set out earlier here for him?
Hit
Play
me-
the
hit me,
fucking
Gus.
audio. You have her permission already. There's nothing she can do. She has consented to that. You've already told her what it was. You have her permission.
Yeah, but this is something that this is actually I appreciate.
Here's my.
Yeah.
Do you plan on ever interviewing her again?
No.
Then why the fuck does it matter? Put it out. You're done. That end of story. Put it out there. That's what the end of the thing is. You have.
I'd tell you my main.
Right. You're legally in the right. Just put it out there.
Yeah, but I'm not legally in the right because I said to her that I would let her have the final say on her own words. So, I mean,
did you sign a document?
Why would you ever say that?
Well, because that was the only reason. That was the only way of getting it. I'm not. I'm not some big company. That was the only way to get people to agree to it. Pretty much everything. Every survivor, every person with a serious story was very hesitant to talk to me, and I don't blame them.
Once you get the permission, you're good. Done.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's easier said than done. Like I get it completely. The project didn't go well. You know.
Meme said he spoke to his people and they're allowing it. So
yeah,
you're okay.
Yeah, I don't know,
BA. Well, Montante saying BA in the private chat, Joe. I think he's back. Oh, there you go. You're on mute, buddy. So Mick, I don't know. I think you have a quality that the others don't, in the sense that you are sensitive, but you are self-aware at the same time. But you toe a fine line of both of them. And but do you think you really have what it takes to be the producer, or do you think that you're like the third man? Like, what do you think you're the top dog right now? Like, or what do you think?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know if I'm the favorite or anything like that, but I also know that can change very quickly. And do I think I could do a good job? I mean, I don't know if I'm Steve Robinson-esque, you know what I mean, with the organization of the show and the quality of it. I don't know, but I certainly think that I could add something to it.
Well, let me reword the question. If Mick, that's not a shot at you. If you followed through with your show and say you had like 300 beyond averages right now,
yeah.
This is not a bid, bud. This is no bid here. If you kept doing your show once a week and then you actually completed the, how do you take that as like you're fucking tone deaf, and you actually completed the Vegas
we just
series?
talked about it when you weren't here. We just talked about it when you were.
How the fuck would I know? I wasn't here, as you mentioned.
Pay attention to the show.
Good point, Mick.
Where was this hostility today on the show?
Because now he's 300 miles away, so he could be a little shithead. So no, I'm saying, do you literally? So the question was literally, if you kept doing a normal show and you had way more content out there, and you kind of put those things to the side, where would you be? Is that literally the question that was asked when I was gone?
No, not directly. But what we were talking about was not finishing the Vegas project.
No, I'm saying, so if you
Montante, that question was not even close. Like, you asked something completely different.
Thank you, Tony. But I didn't know that I wasn't here. So
what's your question, Montante?
So if you kept doing your shows consistently, like once a week, say you did 8 shows of your fucking mini series, and you had 330 episodes right now, beyond average, do you think they wouldn't be able to neuter you by saying you don't see things through, you don't go away for long periods of time? If you were consistently on people's timeline and putting out content, do you think you'd be the number one candidate? I think it's a normal question.
I think I would have maybe a better chance, and like that criticism wouldn't be there. So I guess if that's the biggest criticism, that wouldn't be there. So I think I'd have a better chance. Yeah.
Do you think you could survive getting dressed down, like for real? I mean, you've seen Kirk melt down on people. Do you really think that like you would be able to mentally handle?
This is where I don't get it, man. Like, did you guys listen to even just the show today? Like, I was laughing when I'm getting shit on.
You were not dressed down today. You were barely very light.
So what he's get like? What could he say that's going to ruin me?
Robinson. How would you handle if you were Steve Robinson in that scenario? How would you handle it?
I would sit there
for an hour and 45 minutes. You are getting just berated and not allowed to speak, and need to call people to criticize you.
Yeah, but you get a paycheck every other week, and you're not like there's a huge difference there than being a fan and being an employee.
Money talks.
I'm
such a
there's some part. It's some part within you to be able to take it.
But I don't think Kirk is that hard anymore. It's more casual now. The death of Steve Robinson, I don't think happens anymore. I think it's
think
more
it
just.
would. I think it would.
I happen to think.
If a producer
Mick
did what Steve did, it definitely would.
It'd be rough.
I don't know.
I kind of
I think
agree
Mick
with
can roll
BD.
with the punches. I think Mick can roll with the punches of the everyday
Killer,
show.
Killer Kowalski says, get him Cass. If Kirk makes fun of the cake, then Mick will cry. So that's what the Killer Kowalski says. So Mick, do you want a chance to defend your pitch? Because like the newsletter and everything, the 24-hour stream, do you want a chance to defend it? Or?
I think anybody in the right mind, I don't think anybody could have gave a good pitch there. I think he would have ate anybody up. And I'm not saying
Why
I
did you
give.
keep going back to it?
What's that?
It wasn't working. Why did you keep
What else
going
we gonna
back
talk
to
about?
it?
Another thing, like what else are we going to talk about when he throws it to you and he says, "Hey, what else you got?" Like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, "Oh, did you see the fucking game last night?" Like, I was like, "All right, well, let me try to make this a little personal. Let me try to just."
It's better than saying, "Oh, I don't know, nothing." That's a fair point by Mick.
I tried to
back in this whole this.
Word of the producer search.
By the way, VD is your
Main
best
subject
advocate
in the
here.
show.
VD, you should be the producer.
I said that. I said I don't think Mick should be producer, but I think he should be in there in a Justin role maybe, or once or twice a month. Like Mick needs to be in the studio more, but I don't know that producer is the best role for him.
That's fine.
But I do. I'm not anti-Mick. I do support Mick, even though he at times feels like I don't.
It's a very complex relationship, VD. But
It is. Ask Montante. It's all about ratio.
He unblocked you. Did you unblock him? VD
I did.
unblocked
I followed
you. He saw us.
I followed him. He still hasn't followed me.
Again, VD, I think you're telling lies.
Okay.
So,
No, but
Mick, what I was saying earlier to the other, I said, it seems like most of the producer candidates, Quinlan, yourself, or Augustus, when Kirk asks about, what else do you have? It's always who's echoing. I don't know who it is. Might be VD.
It's me. Mute me for. I'll mute my.
So the candidates, when Kirk says, "Okay, what do you have?" It's always about themselves. Like Augustus has stuff on himself. You're talking. You bring it back to yourselves. Whereas Montante is trying to do stories. Do you think you've lacked in that aspect of bringing stories that Kirk that have been discussion points, or are you happy with what you brought to the table in a topic aspect?
I think during the producer search, I think it's gonna be tough to not make it always not make it about yourself, but you're there to pitch yourself, right? And you could talk about the topics of the day, but you also have to get lucky. Maybe nothing happened that day, and last night nothing happened. Like other than the football game, like literally, I don't know, nothing happened. So I talked about the Stern thing. I threw that to him. He wasn't into it. Montante threw a couple things where he's like, "What else?" And then I think he found thing, which we talked about it for a couple minutes.
Get rid of VD.
I think that part's easier said than done.
And I think on a day-to-day basis, BA, if that was happening, I think that would be a fair argument. But this is kind of your chance to pitch yourself. So I think making it a little more about yourself and showing some personality is not a bad thing in this situation.
I don't necessarily disagree. It's just more of what I've noticed, because Montante, I think, has done the best job of trying to bring other topics to the table. They've sometimes been about fucking. I think every episode he's mentioned Oprah or something, or the island, or
these things happen. Did you see
repainted your house yet, Montante?
What's that?
I was gonna say, BA, Montante, have you repainted your house blue yet for safety?
Not yet. I still don't get. That's one thing I actually don't get. I saw it 2 weeks ago. I didn't get the thing behind that. But did you guys see Glass-Steagall today? That was a funny little chirp from him.
What did he say?
He chirped my gambling podcast because I mocked his subscription service. And he's like, "Oh, I guess I don't want to botch it here." It was pretty funny though. I think I couldn't tell if he was actually mad or he was just joking. Probably the first thing. But let me see here. It was.
Or can Mick bring the, sorry, Chad said. Christopher said, "Can Mick bring the Saudi funding to the show?" That's a good question.
That's for real. We got to get the live golf money going.
BA said,
"Here it is."
Sig said, "BA's turned into a Lauren Michaels type character." I don't know what that means.
Glass-Steagall said, "I'll have to take some pointers from Montante. Not everybody can have a podcast as electric as the Gen Zone with 102 followers. But if I dream big and work hard, maybe I can get a sliver." I think he meant slice of that pie. So good on Glass-Steagall.
Sliver. I think he meant sliver.
How does that make sense? Wouldn't slice make more sense?
A sliver is literally a
Smaller than
slice.
So we're at an hour 30. I don't know. Is there any? We're at an hour 30. Is there anything?
What do you think? What do you think a sliver is, Montante?
A liver with I don't know. It's just it's a sliver. No, I'm saying like it's something maybe Spanish. I don't know what's going on with a sliver. I've never heard the word sliver.
So you don't know what it means?
I have no idea. A sliver of pie? Never heard of such a thing. You go to a pizza place, give me a sliver of pepperoni. No, it makes no sense.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
He is wrong, Cass. He is wrong, Cass.
I know. I'm trying to be nice. Can I point out something about VA and Gus that I think is an unfair disadvantage against Mick, and that is, and Mick, I'm not trying to be a shithead here. I'm being serious. I think that Gus and Montante are both kind of more natural characters. Like Montante is a funny guy. He is. That's the Montante spelling bee is the greatest fucking thing ever. It just kind of is. And the manic energy that Gus brings it's funny. Honestly, it might get tiresome if we had to deal with it every single day, but it is kind of funny. And I think that a bit of a disadvantage is Mick. I don't know if you're bringing your natural personality to the show, or if you're trying to lean into a character, or if we're getting like a genuine version of what you would bring every day, because it feels like you're trying to play some weird like confrontational villain role. No, I'm not sure that's your natural like personality, and that just doesn't work. Like it's weird. People hate you because if you ask them why, I don't know that they could present a good reason.
Yeah, and I think it goes. I mean, I think it goes back to people. I think are taking a lot of what I say a lot literally. And I feel like
back to Satire King.
Should you try to maybe less sarcasm?
You seem like a social butterfly, Augustus. I'll take those cues from you. Yeah,
I'm a pretty sarcastic guy. I read sarcasm fairly well. I don't get a ton of sarcasm off you, Mick. I don't think that's it. I don't think you're just playing chess
again, Tony. I'll say the same thing to you, my friend. You yourself, again, you seem like a great time. I don't know why I'm asking you about sarcasm or social cues or how people get it. I don't care if you don't get it. How's that? I don't really care.
And you're not sensitive, is what you're saying.
But I don't really care if people
are putting on an act.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like people think it's all an act. Like no, I just don't really care if people don't really get it and they think I'm the worst. Then that's fine. Okay.
But listen, how fucking defensive you're getting. When I'm just literally just saying it feels like you're putting on a character. I don't fucking care. You're not social. Who gives a shit what you think? Like,
Mick, do you do bits, Mick? Do you do bits? Yes or no?
Of course, I think everybody tries to bring a bit, but like that's different than reacting to something.
I don't. But you not being able to spell, was that a bit?
Gus, crawling on your knees is a bit. That's a bit.
Well, I would say, Augustus, you're kind of.
What are you talking about? You just crawled through Milton's.
Augustus, you're kind of just yourself as a bit in yourself,
It's not that I'm like.
I think Mick's the same way. I think that's just the way he is.
I agree. Mick in his own is. I think everyone hated him and saying that he's like. People are now coming at you more than Quinlan. Like earlier today, they're saying Mick was the worst. Mick was the worst. I still think that kind of helps you. I think that helps.
Yeah, but like I want to know that like I'm not trying to make people hate me. Like at times, like I think people think I'm trying to push. Like the Tommy Quinlan thing. Yeah, I was trying to fuck with him for sure. But like
here, Tony Cass, I do want your opinion on this because I think Mick does thrive. Like he doesn't. Not right.
You're all fucked. VD, you're fucked. You're fucked.
I didn't get you. VD, one more. Hit it again.
VD, you're fucked.
You got me now? You got me now?
Go ahead.
I think Mick thrives being hated. What do you think about that? Because I don't think Quinlan does. What do you think about that, Tony?
I think Mick's character is that he thrives being hated. I don't think he likes being hated. I don't think you block someone for outing a DM if you like being hated. I think you lean into that. I think Gus posting that registry immediately, VD. I think that
it was a DM. That's not why. Or
whatever. I don't have your whole history memorized. But I think you want people to believe that you like being hated, but that you don't actually like being hated because your behavior does not suggest that you like being hated.
I'll say what I said before. I don't care. It doesn't. It's not like I like it. It just doesn't.
Like you want people to believe that you don't care too.
I would rather have people. No, Tony. I'll say that I'd rather have people like me. But like, if people don't like me, the only thing to me that really matters, especially in this type of situation, is if the person who runs and owns the show is okay with me being there. And if they tell me, hey, you're not here, that's fine. People can hate me, they can hate me. But that what else do you want me to say? It ruins me that people hate me. It just doesn't, man. I don't know. I think that's what you want.
So I think actually Killer Kowalski brings a good point up. He says Mick acts like Kirk with Down syndrome.
Like, why did you take such offense that people would draw the conclusion that you want to be a mini Kirk? It's like, do you not see like how obvious it appears?
I didn't take a ton of offense to that. I took offense to Kirk seeing him young self in me. Again, you're not listening to the things I say.
No, Kirk.
Who said that?
No, Kirk did not say that.
Mike said that.
No,
Blind Mike said that. I think
Blind
that.
Blind Mike said you see a young Kirk in yourself.
No. He said no. He didn't. I literally. I have the audio teed up. Like he literally said, "You." I think he goes back at you because he thinks that you see a young him in him. And I was like, "That's the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard." Because if you hear the way he talks to me, he thinks I'm a twat-faced fucking idiot.
I remember it the way Augustus was saying, if I'm being honest. But I only heard the clip once. I only heard it once, but I don't remember it being that way.
I could
be wrong.
I think I said on Menners. I said with Menners though.
That's what he meant. Do you honestly think that Kirk sees a young himself in you?
No, Tony. Nobody thinks that. He thinks that I think that.
I'm so confused.
You just said that is exactly what Blind Mike said. You just said Blind Mike said that.
I understand.
How are you going to say nobody thinks that right after you just said Blind Mike said that?
I've been doing this all day. I can't do it anymore.
Mick is saying that Kirk thinks Mick thinks that Kirk he sees.
Okay, that's right. We all agree with that. That, but that's not what he said.
That's not what he said, but sure.
Okay.
But we all agree. We all agree.
Yeah. So we're at an hour 40. What you guys want to? We're at an hour 40. Do you have any? You have final thoughts? You want to keep going? It's up to you guys. I am late for the bar, but
is Menners not doing his thing tonight?
No, Menners like took the night off. Yeah, he was like so sad. Like last week, he was sad. He was like, "Oh, I'm getting too much hate." BA, you do the show.
Are you serious?
Yourself. Really? Yeah, he was all.
No, you're bullshitting.
No, he was kind of sad. He was like, "No," I was like, "Oh, let's do it again, me and you." I think that was a good dynamic. He's like, "No, BA, you do yourself. I'm gonna take some time off." I think the CEO is feeling some pressure. From the comments, section.
That's actually
he's doing a good job. He's doing a good job.
I think he's doing.
I told him that. I told him. I think it's a good idea to do Mike and the Minifans an hour, then do the Menners live call in, or people could come into that the next hour.
The way it leads into each other is perfect. I think it almost feels incomplete without him going into this.
It does, yeah, I know. But hopefully he's back. Hopefully, I think he's on kind of a mental health leave right now. So, pray for Menners.
Maybe this is a good opportunity at 11 o'clock for John and Jay to bring back Meeting of the Minds.
Yeah, no, we can keep going if you want. If you have some more stuff to say. Why don't we do all you guys get your final thoughts?
I'll start. I'll say I'm running a very clean campaign here. I'm just glad to be considered, and I will cross the hurdles that would bring if I were to be offered, and the logistics will be handled. So that's all. May the best man.
Mick, are you gonna be at Saco? I'll be at Saco.
You're gonna be at Saco? I'm gonna be
going
at
Saco. Are you going to Saco, BA?
I'm gonna be there.
My flights are booked. I'm going.
Oh, you got my word. I'll be there whether I get the job, whether I'm part of it or not. Like I will be there as a fan or anything. I'm in.
Pinky swear.
All
right, cool.
Saco's gonna be fun. Gus, what do you got to say?
I've been having fun. Just because this is a unique experience, and I think it's a unique opportunity for all of us who are taking part in it. Because if you told me when the show first started that I'd have this chance, I would think you would be crazy. And I think Tante, he's a great third chair on the show. He brings the laughs. I don't always agree with him. Some days I want to shake him like going crazy with some of his super right wing takes, but it's still a good engaging conversation. I think there's always going to be a voice for Montante, and even with Mick, there's something about having a hateable character around, and that's what I even said earlier. Mick, you weren't around. If and Montante, would you do this as well? Would you offer Mick an internship if he doesn't get hired?
No.
No?
Yeah,
Fuck no.
I would not accept that either.
Why not?
He's too old. He's too old.
You said
Yeah,
He knows that.
I make money. I would have to get paid.
well, you said you'd work for free.
Yeah, but
So
like it's
it's strong.
into a role where I'm going to get paid. Like
That's a
it would
good
have
point.
to be.
Well,
You said you could hire me for nothing.
Yeah, and I mean that was obviously hoping in
oh,
a sense that
satire.
Oh,
Satire.
I didn't get a
Yeah,
satire.
You bring up a good point.
Yeah.
Your head.
listen to this.
Shit.
You guys are fucking idiots. That was classic Mick.
If he
Shame
said,
on
hey,
us- shame on us
he
for
said-
taking him at his word.
If he said work for me for free for a month, and if it goes well, we'll go from there. Then yeah, of course I would fucking
We should
try, right?
have known you meant that when you said that 3 weeks ago. That's all. That's
Right.
all.
No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna quit my job now. You're right. No, I'm gonna quit my job now. I'm not gonna get paid. I'm gonna live on the street, or I'm gonna live with maybe I have a relative. I can live at their house like you do. But either or.
Don't you live with your cousin? Well, I don't know what that's a modern day stunner.
Everybody have a great night. I'll see you
That
guys
was a
soon.
haymaker. That was a haymaker. See you later, buddy.
That landed in a county over.
Kill shot.
That was a haymaker.
Casanova, Tony Glass. What do you have to say? I was gonna actually ask you. I was gonna ask you early on, but you made me laugh. So I kept you around.
Bye.
Oh, what a nice guy. Thank you. Listen, Gus is a man of honor. Obviously, brings a lot of heat. Manic energy can't be replicated. My endorsement goes to Montante.
Thank you.
I really hope that he ends up with that
If you're gonna
position.
do
He
it,
deserves
actually
it.
point to him.
But they moved the screen on me while it's
Yeah,
happening.
no, that's fair.
That's satire. It's fucking satire. What's most important, though,
I picked up on it.
My closing moment, my closing thought. I think we have learned that Mick is definitely not sensitive.
Nope.
He can definitely handle the pressure, and he is definitely the right man for the job. So
yes, correct.
satire.
Yes,
And we can leave it with
he's
memes. His
remarkable.
comment. I hope there are cupcakes waiting for him. He looks sad. All right, boys. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
Another tough day at work today. Stephen Kirk, think I suck. Throw back a few wobbly pops, feeling down on my luck. And the interns ruin every show. But it's still where we wanna go. It's Mike and the Minifans. 'Cause nobody had any better plans. You wanna be with DC and RA Minahan. The host can't see it's Mike and the Minifans. And nobody's seen real MHB. This whole thing is a sham. You never see him pee. It's Mike and the Minifans.